Good afternoon, folks. This is Deb and Dave, and this is the FACTIVIST Report. You know, there's this old song by the Rolling Stones called You Can't Always Get What You Want. Okay. But we're going to add on to that title and say, but you might be able to get what you need if you just shut the fuck up and vote.
Right. And by the way, stop with the sympathy for the devil too.
Right. And by the way, stop voting against your own best interest because someone's labeling people a certain way.
Right. And that's the whole point of this entire show. Um, and also, this isn't a an advertisement for the Democratic Socialists of America, but it is promoting most of their domestic policies because it's about affordability.
It's about the
Okay.
people coming first over billionaires and in some cases, some weeks, trillionaires and corporations.
Right.
What's not to love about that? I don't get it. You want to keep dying under the weight of rampant capitalism simply because some people are mislabeling this platform.
And by the way, we did two shows on Plattner at least, and maybe more, just because one the candidate crashed and burned or has moral issues or behavioral problems doesn't mean that everyone is a threat.
Behavioral problems.
I don't know what the hell. He's a rapist. Okay.
That's a
Fuck.
behavioral issue.
Yes.
That's a
I
him
don't.
issue. That's not
Fuck.
a party
Right.
issue.
And by the way, yeah, I'm not trying to minimize it either. I really not.
I'm not either,
Just
but it's
because
a fact.
he has criminal behavior tied to him now. And
Right.
by the way, this isn't court. Okay, if it was court, half the Republicans would be gone already. I'm just
Including the
saying.
president of the United States.
Right, exactly. So let's just get into this show about, so I'm not really gonna talk about what the Democratic Socialists of America are, other than saying the domestic policy is about affordability, is about fighting against corporate power, all of that stuff. Internationally gets a little dicier, so I'm not going to get into, there are levels to it, and some of them are on the extreme side, and not everyone in the DSA is on that extreme side. Yep. So anti-Israel to the point of being going too far. All right. However, we will talk about some of the players, including someone that I do not endorse, support, whatever. He's a freaking content creator guy. The guy's
Right.
name is Hassan Piker. I keep on hearing this guy's name, and once you start talking about the blood of pigs and because this person is this, he's a pig or a dog or whatever. No, I'm done. Okay, that's all I need to hear, but we'll get into it. Where am I? Where am I, Deb? Here we go. So, na 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 na. Pardon me for the musical interlude. All right, there we go. So, this is just the Democratic Socialists of America website. Um, just real quick about us. Da, da, da. Here we go. So this is our work, which is basically kind of their campaign page or whatever. Um, Green New Deal, growth and development, housing justice, the International Community Committee. You can look at all this stuff, but um, Labor Commission, trans rights and bodily autonomy. I'm telling you right now, I don't see that in the Democratic Party website. So a lot of what they do, again, abolish ICE, is about social justice and about affordability.
Yep.
Troy Jackson, we just spoke about Troy Jackson. He may very well be. the man who replaces Graham Plattner. He is considered someone who follows a lot of the DSA policy domestically. I don't know where he is internationally on the whole thing. However, he is considered a friend to the DSA. And by
Now,
the way,
look,
to the
look,
best
look,
of my knowledge, no one has been endorsed by the DSA, in terms of the main Senate campaign. Go ahead.
I think we can all agree, as human beings, that Benjamin Netanyahu is a genocidal maniac. I think we can agree with, his reprehensible treatment of the people of Gaza. We
Right,
agree, we can agree on that. That's not a matter of, you know, whether you're anti-Israel or anything. As a human being, okay, I know many people who do not agree with Benjamin Netanyahu and what he's doing. Many people here in this country who are Jewish who do not agree with what he is doing and do not
right,
support him. So,
right.
in that respect, I think Benjamin Netanyahu is a disgrace and disgusting as a human being. But that does not mean that I hate every Jewish person or think every Jewish person is just like Benjamin Netanyahu.
I just wanted to show this real quick. This is the type of nonsense that the GOP is throwing out there, especially, around Bethpage and Massapequa, New York, and we're becoming purplish red in those areas. Blakeman is a big part of it. He's been a Trump stooge for years now, and he is claiming that Brad Lander, would have aided the Nazis.
Disgusting.
By
Disgusting.
the way, this is the same kind of rhetoric that I'll slam Hassan Piker for too. Okay. This is pretty much as far as I'm
And
going to
he's
go
pretty
in
much
terms of
correct about this.
right.
He's pretty much correct about this.
Okay, so Hassan Piker.
I want to shut off his megaphone.
Okay.
He's the perfect example of just what far too many people on social media are. They're just content creators intent on getting hits. And
Right, and that's hold
it's
on.
he's not an ally to anybody but himself.
It just froze as soon as I put Piker on here.
That's what happens,
It
see?
froze.
That happens.
Hold on.
That's what fucking happens. I can't even pay any attention to this guy. I think he's just like, useless. He's not a help. He should not in any way be representing the Democratic Party. He's just a content creator.
Right. So yeah, people are comparing him to the Nick Fuentes to the of the left.
Yeah, that's about right.
So
Yeah.
I was looking, all right. I was looking for one of the, by the way, that's him.
Honestly, just because you know what radical sells. That's exactly what it is. The more
Right.
radical you are, the more interest you generate and the more clicks you get. And honestly, these guys don't even give a shit whether you agree with them or not, as long as they get the clicks. That's all they need.
Let's see here. Let me see. I just wanted to, oh crap. No. Shut up. Tosh. No. Shut up.
It's another person I can't stand.
Okay, here we go. So, um, is this what I think it is? Oh, this is about his Twitch account and all that. This is from Richie Torres. Now look, I'm not a huge fan of Richie Torres, but he's right in his case. Let's see here. Oh, So this is okay. Here we go. Mr. Piker has said he has no issue with Hezbollah, the world's most heavily armed terrorist organization in the world, has given a platform to a suspected terrorist from the Houthis. The U.S. government has declared Hezbollah for its terrorist organization and the Houthis a specially designated global terrorist group. Platforming any of these terrorist organizations, as Plattner has done, is beyond the pale. Piker has even gone so far as to incite violence, telling his followers to kill and murder people in the streets and let the streets soak in their red capitalist blood. Da da da. After October 7th, remember that Mr. Piker joked and mused about men date raping women on a college campus. Done. Stop.
Done. Nope.
Done.
You know what?
We
You want
will
to fight
not.
back? You can vote. All right. You can become active in
Yeah.
government. You can do all of that stuff. But this stuff here, as John Lennon said, if you want money for people with minds that hate, all I can tell you is, brother, you have to wait.
And this is an oracle. Look, I'm not everything in the Democratic Socialist Party is good. Not everything is bad. I don't know in terms of how infiltrated it is or whatever. I know that some long-standing old-time members have left because they didn't like the direction, blah, 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 blah. So if it is going in that direction, you know, all that stuff from the river to the sea, all of that, it goes a little too far. However, this is Tom Swazi.
Is this not, just so you know, the Free Press, you do know who that is, right? Barry Weiss, the woman who is now running
Right, CBS.
NBC or whatever it is, or whatever.
CBC, it's CBS.
The woman who took down 60 Minutes. That's who this
Yes,
is. Barry
CBS.
Weiss's mouthpiece. This is how she got her job.
So basically, Tom Swazi is saying, hey,
So I
I'm
would
a
figure that he
capitalist,
would be on here. Okay.
yeah, I'm a capitalist, not a socialist. It's him, it's Laura Gillen. There's actually let's see, we're a capitalist, not socialist.
Good for
Here
you.
we go. The promise to America, Deb.
Yeah. I'll promise you something, buddy.
So here we go. All centrists, blah blah blah.
I promise you we'll keep the billionaires in their proper status. We'll make sure that the Jeff Bezos and the rest of the scumbags who are screwing people over, we'll keep them wealthy.
Right. And Swazi's gone this far, and so is Gillen. They're not, there are some people, this is a coalition, a bipartisan coalition. So some of the people are Republicans. Swazi is not endorsing the Democratic candidates in the House. None of them.
Vicente Gonzalez is a Democrat, I believe. He's a piece of shit too.
This is all, yeah, this is all did he have allegations against him or no? There was
No,
something going on with that's what's his face. That's Quaylaw, but
yeah, Henry Cuellar.
so here we go. Here's the last part of this. Look, you don't sell your soul to the devil to protect yourself from evil, even if you consider, DSA evil. So in fight for the U.S. House, Long Island representatives take a peace pledge. Can we do something about this, please? Um, 3 of Long Island 4 House members say they won't be starting partisan fights by endorsing each other's election challengers, abiding by the non-aggression pact of a bipartisan group fighting democratic socialism in New York. How you doing, Deb? All right.
I'm all right.
So Democratic Representative Tom Swazi and GOP Representatives Nick LaLota and Andrew Garbarino
Oh
each
God.
confirmed this week that they won't be endorsing each other following this week's primary elections. So against each other. They won't be primarying against each other. It's a non-aggression pact. Deb, what the hell? They're not endorsing challengers to any of the dozens of congressional colleagues nationally who sit across the political aisle from them, but who are members of the self-described problem solvers caucus.
Yeah, let's all
You
dance
know,
with the Republican Party now, so we can protect capitalism. Let's dance with the party that has absolutely no soul, no heart, no caring for the American people, a party that is supporting and condoning the crimes that Donald Trump has caused, supporting and condoning this war, and supporting and condoning the hiding of the Epstein files. Let's all dance with those devils, because that's so much better than putting candidates out there who care about the people first. Spare me all of this garbage, okay?
I want people to understand we've been doing shows over the past month or so, you know, off and on. And yes, I know we don't have a regular schedule right now because we have lives. Sorry. But so I don't even know what are we doing here? You know, you you are basically saying, well, let's say it this way. You have in the spectrum of what we're talking about. And I know this is a completely elementary school explanation. I know it's more complex than this, but socialism and what we're talking about is shared services, roads, postal service, library, fire departments, all of that.
Social
Okay. The
Security,
socialism.
Medicare.
Okay. Then you're talking industry, which is capitalism. That's money, and once you become more and more, once you mix the capitalism with governance too much,
That's called
that's
fascism.
fascism. Okay, so
It's already
socialism,
fat. We already have too much of that. We've got way
right,
too much of that. Look who sat behind Donald Trump during his inauguration: Jeff Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg,
right,
on and on. And Peter Thiel is one of the most evil men on the planet. Elon Musk he stripped healthcare away from millions of people. He went into the social security system and stole all of your data. Okay, he took money from USA, and as a result, it's causing hundreds of thousands of deaths across the globe. These are some of the most evil people in the world. Okay, and everybody who in the Democratic Party who's a centrist and supports capitalism wants to turn a blind eye to all of that. Because you know why? They're taking money from the exact same donors that the Republicans are. That's the long and the short of it. And
and one of the things that we have to do, and I know this is tough for some of us. We need to focus and remember the list of Democrats who pulled this shit and primary them next time. I am not saying do not vote for Tom Suozzi. I am not saying
no,
do
we're
not
not.
vote
We're
for Laura
saying we
Gillen.
need
We're
to
not going
eliminate the
that route.
GOP right now. We need to, the number one priority in the midterms is to eliminate the GOP. Then we set our sights on cleaning up the Democratic Party.
There is a gentleman that I showed early in this presentation, Brad Lander. Okay, a few years ago, 2022, I door knocked and I volunteered for a candidate. Her name is Yulene New. She was running against none other than Dan Goldman. Dan Goldman won. He did his thing. Now he's out because Brad Lander beat him. Okay, the same kinds of things need to happen on Long Island. There are certain mechanisms in place we're working on. We're trying to move stuff to the left. It's going to take time, but you know, we are talking about everybody's like, oh, you're talking about commie, you're a socialist, blah blah blah.
Let me ask you, let me tell you, you know what? The Republican Party uses those two terms interchangeably. Nobody in the Republican Party understands what socialism is or communism is. I'm not even sure the people in the United States understand what it is. You know what? The internet is for everybody. Go and look it up. Look
Right.
it up. Go look up what socialism is. Go look up what communism is. Okay? You know,
you don't want
people can sit out there on
right.
social media all day pissing and moaning. How about typing something into a search bar and finding it? And don't use AI either. Okay?
Right.
All right. When you type in the search, put in there minus AI and get real information.
By the way, yeah, for a short time I used Grok and Lynn's like, what the hell are you doing?
No way.
I understand. Yeah, I know. But this was to save a public space, by the way, and it helped. But yeah, when people say, hey, socialism is evil and all of that, fine. You don't want your mail? What are you talking about? You don't want your mail? That's a social program. You don't want to have to go to the library. You don't want your Social Security. You don't want your SNAP benefits. You don't want I mean, come on. So you don't want your health insurance plan through Obamacare? Yeah. So there are social
Don't worry
programs out
about that
there
because
that
if you put
help.
the Republicans back in, they've already
Right.
decimated that. There are people coming off of that now because they've been cut off of it. There are people coming off of that now because the premiums are now so high they can't afford them anymore. The Republicans, you leave them in office, they'll take care of all of that for you. They'll take all of
By the
that shit
way,
away from you.
they already have the big beautiful bill already put
It's
out,
all ready to go, but they're waiting
tens of
until after the
thousands of
midterms
people.
for that to be enacted. That's why you don't see anything yet. Although, hey, if you like paying $3.95 to anywhere from $3.95 to $4.95 for gas, you can get that right now. Okay, you can get all of
Right.
that. If you like your food bill going from $140 a week up to $210 a week, like mine has, okay. I was paying $2.55 for gas under Biden. I was paying $140 a week for food under Biden. We're
It
never
was
going to
over
see those
$4
prices again.
now.
We're never
No.
going to see those prices again, no matter what. Okay.
Remember the elite candidate, uh, Kamala Harris, and by no means is she DSA. I know that, but she was putting out anti-price gouging
By the way,
ideas.
Kamala Harris warned everybody that this was coming.
Yep.
Okay. She warned everybody that this was coming. And I'm going to go out there and I'm going to say this flat out on camera. None of what you see going on in America right now, not one iota of this would be happening under Kamala Harris. Not one iota of this. Okay. When they were proposing that maybe Mark Cuban should be her running mate, she picked Tim Walz. Okay. Mark Cuban was on the short list. We don't need billionaires no matter what side of the aisle they're on. Okay.
Right.
This is the issue
Right.
here.
Right. But anyway, that's our show. Look, you need some forms of socialism, and especially where house prices have. I understand you want property values to be high if you want to sell your house, but they can't be so inflated that people can't live here. And the rent is like off the chain and blah 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 blah.
Crazy.
So
It's
there
insane.
has to there has to be a balance here.
Yep.
My little shotgun shack, I recently looked up how much it's worth. $610,000 for a little ranch. No, I mean, okay, but it's pushing people out too, and it's breaking
So
up neighborhoods.
so in let's just look at like say take Medford, Massachusetts as an example. Okay. Two family houses, um, not a lot of land, right? I know one in specific um, that somebody that I work with lives near. Okay, no driveway, not even a driveway. Okay,
Yeah,
developer, a real estate guy bought the house from these people. He paid $1.1 million for this house. It's two-family
right,
house, right?
right.
He stuck a driveway in, planted a couple of trees on the other side. Um, and this girl lives next to this house. Okay. He made two condos and he's renting each condo for like $660 a month.
Yep.
You know,
And you
it's
figure how many units are in that condo
no, I'm
every
sorry.
single month.
Hold on. I'm wrong about that. He's not, he was selling them for anywhere between 660 and 700,000 a month. All right.
Okay.
And then
Jesus.
he decided to rent one of them, and he's charging $2,800, $2,900 a month for a one bedroom.
Right. But that's the game. That's part of what the capitalists slash the conservative Democratic Party, they actually call themselves that. The conservative Democratic Party do all the time. They deal with property values and they make a boatload of money.
Right.
And they also have, yeah. So
don't get me wrong. I can see $2,800 for a two bedroom with a decent sized kitchen. This is a little postage stamp kitchen and a
right,
little.
you're talking basically like a studio.
It's a studio, and
Yeah.
it's and it's not like they even got a balcony or anything like that. It's just like
Right.
a bedroom, and it's not a big bedroom. Okay.
Right.
And it's off the chain.
Yeah. So either pay out the nose and not get a living wage. By the way, that's another thing. The living wage is huge.
It is.
Living wage, universal child care, universal health care, water quality, that's a huge one too. All of that
Did
stuff.
you see the new living wage movement thing? Did you see any of that?
I did, and I actually wanted to do a show on it once I do more research on it because I think
Remember
that that's
when I went down to the Democratic National Convention, it was the Fight for 15.
yes.
Yeah, well,
That was
it's
in 2016, right?
2016, the Fight for
Yeah.
15. How long did that go on? Okay. We still don't have it in most of across the country. The minimum wage is still $7 and what, 25 cents or something around
Something like that, yeah.
something like that. Okay, in Massachusetts, they filed a bill that's $15 in Massachusetts. Okay, so now with the change in every way everything is gone, the fight for 15 is now the fight for 25.
Right.
And I'm not sure that that's enough.
Well, that's where the whole living wage thing comes in because it depends on where you're at,
Right.
what wage you're going to get. Depends on, and as the cost of living goes up, so does your wage.
Yep.
And by the way, you know, we also know that prices will go up and all of that. In terms of social programs, the GOP also pushes this button all the time. All of this means higher taxes, not necessarily. Like if you restructure, look at all of the waste at this point. The war, how much money we're spending on the war, how much money we're spending on ICE right now. We have to rebalance all of that once asshole face is out of office, and then work with whatever.
Now I haven't read the article yet, but I pulled it up. Now that he was at the NATO summit and he declared the memorandum of understanding dead and the war back on, he's asking for trillions of dollars more now to fight this war. He's
By the
asking
way,
for, who do you think's paying for that, folks? You think they're over there printing money off a little printing press? It's coming out of your pocket.
when I drive by a gas station and I see like 350, okay, I'm like, okay, I can just come back when I drive back. No, when I'm driving back from work, it's like 457. I'm like, what the fuck?
I just went
Like
by
within
a
a day,
station.
within like 12 hours.
I went by a station today. I didn't catch the price of regular gas, but diesel was $6.85. How about
Right.
those truckers, boys? You like those Trump truckers? You happy now? I don't know.
Anyway, that's
That's
what
it.
we got. Don't know because next week I'm free, but the week after that I'll be on vacation. But listen, we have to continue to just keep going, keep plugging, and you know, do what you can to stay as and take care of yourself too, by the way, to stay as politically active and at least
Engaged.
aware and engaged.
Yep.
Okay, I'm not saying go to every single rally. I can't do that. Deb can't do that. It's too much.
But you got a
Okay,
telephone. and you got email, and
You
you
got
need
the
to stay
telephone, you
engaged.
got
Listen,
email.
we
Yep.
we got into this situation because we've been complacent for far too long as a nation. We cannot do this anymore. We cannot.
And maybe helping one person can help you as well. Nothing like I'm okay, in terms of costs and all that, but maybe, just maybe, the stuff that helps everybody else around me will help me as well in terms of cost of living and all that stuff.
By the
So just
way,
think of it that way too.
90 million people cannot stay home during the midterms like they did during the presidential election. That's unconscionable, folks. You complain about your rights every day. I see you all on social media. You don't vote, you're thumbing your nose at your rights. You're thumbing your nose at a basic fundamental right. Okay? If you do not come out en masse in November, he will try to steal the midterms. The way you
And it is
stop
not,
that
yeah.
is numbers.
If you want to get involved in the candidate vetting process as well, because oh, they're just giving us people that we don't want anyway, then get involved. Get involved in the vetting process. It is um it's not always the nicest process, and it's kind of different when you see the sausage being made. Let's just put it that way, because it's dirty and nasty sometimes, but it's necessary.
Yep.
So you find out how you can get one of your guys in and just keep plugging. But that's what we have. Uh, you guys have a wonderful summer. And by the way, I would also consider keeping your air conditioners at 78. How much lower do you need it? I don't have an air conditioner. I'm sweating like crazy now. So enjoy it, but be responsible. From your fellow communists, by the way.
Yeah. We'll talk to you
Just
later.
think of other people just for once, for a second.
You don't want a brownout. Okay. That affects everyone. So we'll talk to you
I
later.
uh